Good morning. Early so I can make sure you can see everything, and you tell me if you can see my screen when I switch over, just to be sure. And I'm still trying to get my other computer here to speed up a little bit. So I'll wait a couple seconds, or I'll wait a minute before I start. Yeah, and then you can let me know. Sorry, I'm going to be looking sideways. Let me see if I can put this over. I'm telling you, technology, I don't know. I say that every time, I think. So I'll wait. I will talk as I'm waiting. I'm barely a one computer person, and here I have two in front of me. What I was wanting to say was there's no one direction in doing this Isaiah study, because one, I haven't read it thoroughly, probably since college, to study it. And then two, I feel like every chapter I read, I just pick what sticks out to me, and then I go for it. So it's not like we're delving deep into the Hebrew all the time, or we're focusing on we're going to focus just on the people. I mean, I'm going to just focus on whatever I guess the Holy Spirit shows me to focus on, and or what I just want to understand. It's not that I'm reading this. There's a lot of encouraging parts coming up, but a lot of this so far has been a lot of historical things. So I want to study things I haven't studied. So for today, I'm wanting to study the place of Moab. Salty dog. Let me ask you and Melissa. Oh, sorry. The pop-up was covering you, Melissa. Can you see my screen if I switch it like this? Let me know. Can you see green? Because I can't switch back and forth a lot. Could you see that screen? So I'm going to be going back to this page a lot. So thumbs up or whatever for if you can see that screen. It says Eglath Shalishiya. Sounds like I had too much to drink when I say that. Did you see that screen? I'm assuming so because I see my screen. So yay. So as I was studying this the other day, I got stuck on verse 3. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an intro because Moab descends from the Moabites, as you know. The Moabites come from Lot, and more specifically, they come from Lot's daughter doing an act of incest. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Besides that, but this is where we're starting. We're going to start with Reuben, because Reuben was given this land in Moab. So I wanted to see, I haven't read this previously, so I want to go back to this testament first to see if there's any connections when we do Isaiah 15. Okay, so I'll just maybe skim this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Chapter 1, Reuben's the firstborn son of Jacob, and Leah, the man of experience, counsels against fornication and points out the ways in which men are apt to fall into error. 2 years after the death of Joseph, his brother, Reuben fell ill. His sons and his sons' sons were gathered together to visit him. And he said to them, "My children, behold, I am dying, and go the way of my fathers." And seeing there Judah and Gad and Asher, his brothers, he said to them, Raise me up that I may tell my brethren to my children what things I have hidden in my heart. For behold, now at length I am passing away. He arose and kissed them, said unto them, Hear, my brethren, and do ye, my children, give ear to Reuben your father in the commands which I give you. Behold, I call to witness against you this day the God of heaven, that ye walk not in the sins of youth and fornication, wherein I was poured out, and defiled the bed of my father Jacob. And I tell you that he smote me with a sore plague in my loins for 7 months, and had not my father Jacob prayed for me to Yah, that Yah would just have destroyed me. For I was 30 years old when I wrought the evil thing before Yah, and for 7 months I was sick unto death. And after this I repented with set purpose of my soul for 7 years before him. Wine and strong drink I drank not, flesh entered into my mouth, and I ate no pleasant food, but I mourned over my sin, for it was great, such as had not been in Israel. And now hear me, my children, what things I saw concerning the 7 spirits of deceit when I repented. Oh, we talked about the 7 spirits of Yahuwah the other day, and now here's some 7 spirits of deception, which I believe Trevor was speaking about last night. Isn't that interesting? Unreadable print for the... Okay. That's okay. I know it's small print, Salty Dog. So, yeah, sorry about that. It's pretty small. Let me try to make it bigger. Does that help? Okay, I'm in verse 14. The first is the spirit of life with which the constitution of man is created. The second is the sense of sight, which ariseth desire. The third is hearing, cometh teaching. The fourth is the sense of smell, which tastes are given to draw air and breath. The fifth is the power of speech, with which comes knowledge. Sixth is taste, eating of meats and drinks, and by its strength produces food, is the foundation of strength. Seventh is procreation. Through love of pleasure, sins enter in. So interesting. These spirits have the positives, but then there's always that negative effect of sin in it. Wherefore it is the last in order of creation, and the first in that of youth, because it is filled with ignorance, and leadeth the youth as a blind man to a pit, and as a beast to a precipice. Yeah, dark shadows for sure. Okay. With these spirits mingled the spirits of error, fornication, insatiable, I was going to say insatiability, not being able to be filled, fighting, liver and gall. Ooh, Melissa, I bet you could attest to that. All these things are connected to different organs in the body. Fourth, of obsequiousness, wow, and chicanery. Officious attention, one may be fair in seeming. The fifth, pride, boastful and arrogant. The sixth, lying, perdition, jealousy, to practice deceits, concealments from kindred and friends. Seventh, injustice, thefts, act of rapacity. Man may fulfill the desire of his heart, worketh together with the other spirits by taking of gifts. With all of these, the spirit of sleep is joined, which is that of error and fantasy. Wow, this is not what I was planning on reading. This is super deep. Okay, I will skim now down. Let's go down to 41. For with an angel of Yah revealed to my father concerning my impiety, and he came and warned over me, touched her no more. So that's with Bilhah. Yeah, he basically, I think he raped her, right? Yeah, he did. That's not what I'm here to talk about. That's interesting. But okay, so he's warning against his generational curses, which, don't you think, just a little side note, maybe this study's going to be longer than I thought. A little side note on that, we'll just let the spirit lead. Oh, miracle, Salty. Hallelujah. So I've read about and learned about generational curses and sins, and it would be amazing if patriarchs and leaders in families would, I mean, these were the 12 patriarchs, but even just anybody. What if my grandfather on both sides or an uncle told us before, told children and family, like he basically repented at death, but also said, but do this instead, do the right thing, and listen to what the Heavenly Father tells you to do and flee from those things. Like, if someone literally tells you that, you're less apt to do it, right? Because they love you and they know what they're talking about because they went through it. It's just interesting that really, and specifically Reuben, but all the patriarchs gave examples of their life, and then they said, go and do otherwise, not go and do likewise, like Jesus said, but go and do otherwise than I have, because then you will be blessed. And then in turn, they also talked about curses if they choose not to do what they had warned against. Let me skim through this. It just continues. Experiences and his good advice. Now I've been on my guard and did not. 7 says, for a pit unto the soul is the sin of fornication. So really he just struggled with immorality and lust and pride. 27, I adjure you by Yah of heaven to do truth, each one unto his neighbor, entertain love each other for his brother. Draw near to Levi in humbleness of heart, you may receive a blessing from his mouth, for he shall bless Israel and Judah, because him hath Yahuwah chosen to be king over all the nation, and bow down before his seed, for on our behalf it will die in wars, visible and invisible, and will be among you an eternal king. So that's actually mentioned in Isaiah. So we'll go to that. Reuben died, having given these commandments to his sons, and they placed him in a coffin until they carried him up from Egypt and buried him in Hebron in the cave where his father was. Okay, so wrong one. Sorry about that. Let's go to Isaiah. All right, you can tell me screen is, and I can enlarge it. I read from the NAS. Interesting. Oh, I feel the Matrix like on me today. Do you? I don't know. I just feel like, protect us, Yaks. Strange things. A lot of people are going through a lot of things, and it's interesting. So we're going to get to Isaiah, and this is about Moab in chapter 15. I have to get through them. It looks like my connection's slowing down. Completely disconnect. Let's figure that out. Okay. So, chapter 15. Moab. But Reuben had a part in, this is his area of the promised land that he was given. Okay. And as I said, my connection's slow. Okay. Let's work on this. So this is the divine revelation about Moab, which is, we are told, east of the Dead Sea. The ancestors of Lot's and daughter's son. And the Ammonites are his other daughter's descendants from him. Surely in a night, Ar of Moab is devastated and ruined. Surely in a night, Kir of Moab is devastated and ruined. They have gone up to the temple and to Dibon, even to the high places to weep. Moab wails over Nebo and Medeba. Everyone's head is bald and every beard is cut off. In their streets they have girded themselves with sackcloth. On their housetops and in their square, everyone is wailing, dissolved in tears. The shaving of the head and beard, that is a sign of, I read that in a commentary. Okay, so we're in verse 4. Heshbon and Elilah also cry out. Their voice is heard all the way to Jahaz. Therefore the armed men are bowed. His soul trembles within him. My heart cries out for Moab. His fugitives are as far as Zor and Eglath. Now I can't say it. Eglath Shalish. La 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 la. This one. So there are a lot of places in this chapter. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. There are a lot of places in this chapter, and I am not fully sold on the idea that the Middle East is the biblical lands, that the Americas are the biblical lands, and nobody can quote me on saying anything. Well, you can quote this, that I really don't know, and I don't know if anybody really knows. There's a lot of good arguments, and actually I found a few clues that line up with Utah. So go figure. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. But it's interesting that these places, and I think our Heavenly Father wants us to know of this, and He wants us to be aware. It wouldn't be in there if we weren't. There's so much specificity in Isaiah about judgments. There's a reason we have to pay attention to it. So I'm going to go to a couple of these passages so that we can know what they're talking about. So this place, I'm not going to say it again. There's always a judgment, meaning this place. It says, it means a heifer of 3 years old. According to the Septuagint, in the former case, strong and unconquered cities, Zoar and Horonaim are compared to the heifer not yet broken to the yoke. Such use of heifer is not infrequent, so they do also mention it here. The majority of scholars, however, take it as a place name. Some would read the third Eglath, as it were there are 3 towns of that name. No probable identification has been suggested. And let me tell you now, okay, so there's 3 different names to this place. This statement here, or something like it, was for every place I looked up. Well, we're not sure, pretty much. Oh, well, we don't know where it is, pretty much. So you know what? Maybe we do more, because these scholars that put this Bible encyclopedia together don't even know, and they've talked with other people. So let me go to Jeremiah 48:34, and we'll read that. And I'm just putting out there what things are to look for and different, I don't know, bits and pieces. From the cry of Heshbon, even unto Eliale, and even unto Jahaz, have they uttered their voice. From Zoar, even unto Horonaim, as an heifer of 3 years old, for the waters also of Nimrim shall be desolate. That's Jeremiah, and it pretty much reiterates that in Isaiah. So let's keep going. For they go up to the ascent of Luhith weeping. Surely on the road of Horonaim they raise a cry of distress over their ruin. For the waters, there it is, of Nimrim are desolate. I wanted to go to Eliah and Heshbon, because those specifically Eliah, has a specific meaning. Let's do Heshbon. I'm telling you all these. Maybe I'm overwhelming you. I don't know. Take it if you want it. Leave it if you don't want it. Okay, Heshbon, the royal city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites. So this is a different people group. Taken, occupied by the Israelites under Moses. The southern border of Gad, and here is one of the cities fortified by Reuben. So it says the children of Reuben built Heshbon, Elealeh, and the other one. It is reckoned among the cities of Gad, given to the Levites. Okay, later referred to as city of Moab. It passed again into Jewish hands and mentioned by Josephus. I thought this was interesting. Among their possessions in the country of Moab under Alexander Janus. And I did not look up Alexander Janus. If you want to, that's fine. So they just go through history and tell what had happened. Look at this now. The ruins, dating mainly from Roman times. Oh, was it really? Spread over 2 hills, that many feet in height. There are remains of a temple overlooked by the west by those of a castle. Okay, that's probably real. I don't know about this. Really? And I know most of us realize what they're doing with all this slapping on of the name Roman for everything. But they're talking about the Middle East here. So that just could be a distraction. Okay, a large ruined reservoir. While the spring in the valley forms a succession of pools, the city is approached from the valley by a steep path passing through a cutting in the rock, which may have been closed by a gate on a hill to the west. Okay, they only found a collection of dolmens, which I can't remember what that is right now, and stone circles. So again, super vague. But that's what they've found supposedly of Heshbon. Let's go to, I'm telling you, I got like a million bookmarks now. Elialeh. Oh, okay. There's the God has ascended. I love that. I don't think I'll name a daughter that. I can't even say it, but it means God or Yah has ascended. It lays in the country taken from Sihon and within the lot given to Reuben, their names being changed. Wait a second. Seems to apply to all the towns mentioned. What? There's no indication of other names. El-Aleh is noticed with Heshbon in the oracles against Moab. 1 Roman mile from Heshbon, represented by El-Al, a mound crowned with ruins. Okay, so we're going to keep seeing that that theme. They're not sure. They found a temple. They found some stones. Nothing definitive. Okay, so I just think that's super interesting. I hope I didn't blow away I did. I blew away Isaiah. So let's keep kind of the pattern I'm going to be doing for this chapter, because there are so many towns and I just think it's interesting, and we'll make some connections further down, possibly with Utah. Okay, like specific, which kind of makes me excited. But I'm also the kind of person that I have tendency to doubt myself, and I don't want to do that. So I just kind of throw my ideas out there. You know what? If I found a clue, I found a clue, right? We're smart. We can do this. Let me make this bigger for you. 2 places. The voice is heard all the way to J. So they're naming most of these cities in Moab. And I looked a lot of them up. I don't know if I did that one. I did not. Okay, I did not, which is fine. You're probably like, phew. Okay. Verse 5. My heart cries out for Moab. His fugitives are as far as Zoar and Eglath Shalishiah. For they go up the ascent of Luhith weeping. Surely on the road of Horonaim, I say that different every time, they raise a cry of distress over their ruin. The waters of Nimrim are desolate. Surely the grass is withered, the tender grass died out. There is no green thing. Therefore, the abundance which they have acquired and stored up, they carry off over the brook of Arabim. For the cry of distress has gone around the territory of Moab. Its wail goes as far as Eglaim, and its wailing even to Beer Elam. For the waters of Dimon are full of blood. Surely I will bring added woes upon Dimon, a lion upon the fugitives of Moab, and upon the remnant of the land. The remnant there is also translated survivors. And my Names of God Bible says survivors from Adama. So let's go through some other cross references. So let me go up here. Sorry for the scrolling if it makes you dizzy. I think I'm going to go just a different. Now, all these tabs, I'm serious. This took me about an hour to all this rewriting. Okay, so if you have a Bible, you can just turn to it instead of watching me scroll so you get dizzy. I'm going to go to 2 Kings 3 and 4. So we're going to go back up in the chapter to figure some of this stuff out, or just at least have a context. Okay, so this is the king of Moab, a sheep breeder, and used to pay the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and the wool of 100,000 lambs or rams. I was looking all over for what Moab was known for, and it said leather works, and okay, he's a sheep breeder here, the king. So I just want to kind of put it out there in case we find something. I did have in my notes, let's remember that we don't necessarily know who Lot's wife was, not even her name. She was not Hebrew. Remember, the Hebrew peoples started with Abraham. And so Lot was technically not Hebrew. So therefore, because I think I've heard Bible scholars say that the Moabites, the Ammonites, everyone's interrelated. But that's not necessarily true in my thinking, because Lot was not Hebrew, set apart by Yahuwah Most High. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I better check the chat because I'm like rambling and someone might be saying something. So Moabites, Ammonites, all of those chosen people of the Most High. So I just keep that in mind. I used to think that, maybe you didn't even think of it, but I did want to point that out, that we know clearly these are not the Most High's people who would be saved. Now, I did find some pictures of Ruth, maybe I'll share later, but Ruth was a Moabitess, and she was grafted in. That's why the story of Ruth is important, because Boaz, who was Hebrew, married her, and she is King David's grandmother. So Moab wasn't all lost in the history of the Bible, but we'll get there in a second. Judges 3, 12 through 31. I'm really just trying to chill today, so we just kind of mosey along. Now the sons of Israel again did evil in the sight of us. So Yah strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had evil in the sight of Yahweh. And he gathered to himself the sons of Ammon and Amalek. And Ammon is, like I said, the other son of Lot's daughter's sin. He went and defeated Israel. They possessed the city of the palm trees. The sons of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. Ehud delivers from Moab. But when Yahuwah raised up a deliverer for them, Ehud, the son of Gera, the Benjamite, a left-handed man. Oh, I'm left-handed too. The sons of Israel sent tribute by him to Eglon. Ehud made himself a sword which had 2 edges, a cube in length. He bound it on his right thigh under his cloak. He presented the tribute to Eglon. Now Eglon was fat, and it came about when he had finished presenting the tribute, he sent away the people who carried the tribute, but he himself turned back from the idols which were at Gilgal, and said, I have a secret message for you, O king. And he said, keep silence, and all who attended him left him. Ehud came to him while he was sitting alone in his cool roof chamber. Do you guys know this story? And Ehud said, I have a message from Yah for you. And he arose from his seat. Ehud stretched out his left hand, took the sword from his right thigh, and thrust it into his belly. The handle also went in after the blade, and the fat closed around the blade. So obviously he died. So it's always interesting. Yah uses these evil nations, and then he takes care of people the way in judgment anyways. Okay. A couple more. Psalm 68. Okay. Moab, my wash bowl over my shoe. Shout loud, O Philistia, because of me. Okay. Just like to see if there's anything in these passages too. All right, we'll do one more. 1 Samuel 20. 3 and 4. My computer. Okay. David went from there of Moab, and he said to the king of Moab, please let my father and my mother come and stay with you until I know what Yah will do for me. He left them with the king of Moab, and they stayed with him all the time that David was in the stronghold. That's super interesting, isn't it? I did read that earlier when I was studying, and it's very interesting that David went to the enemy for help, to take care of his parents, no less. So that's why sometimes I'm like, what is going on here with these people? However, if you will be reading it in 15 and chapter 16, that there is this cry and there is this mourning, even though, in Bible college, we always learned about these, evil nations, and yet there's mourning over them from others' perspective. It's not like they are they can be rescued. So it's just interesting. Or maybe I don't understand prophecy at all. I don't know. Okay. So let me go to where it said they cry loudly over the destruction, or they go up to the mountain road to Luhith. That's in Jeremiah 48:5. That's east of the Dead Sea. I'm not going to look up that passage. But east of the Dead Sea, I'll try to find a map later so we can get bearings a little bit, at least the Middle Eastern. But I want to show you the Utah map also. Okay. So the waters of Diamond, we went over that. And let's get down to here. Let's get to chapter 16. So we already heard about a tribute sent to and now here's the tribute. Send the tribute lamb to the ruler of the land. And this is referring, I had to look because I didn't understand it all. This is referring to Judah. So the house of David needed tribute. Yah, the Most High, is proclaiming that he wants the house of David to be honored. Nobody else. Okay, from Selah by way of the wilderness to the mountain of the daughter of Zion. Then, like fleeing birds or scattered nestlings, the daughters of Moab will be at the fords of the Arnon. Give us advice, make a decision. Cast your shadow like night at high noon. Hide the outcasts, do not betray the fugitive. Let the outcasts of Moab stay with you, be a hiding place to them from the destroyer. For the extortioner has come to an end, destruction has ceased, oppressors have completely disappeared from the land. So that's Arnon is mentioned in Deuteronomy, so I want to go there. Sorry, I'm all over the place, literally and figuratively. There's so much. I just feel there's so much I could study for months and not understand. But and I went to Bible college, man. Just easy. It also talks about Zered. Now arise and cross over the brook yourselves. So we crossed over the brook Zered. Let's go in context here. This is where Yah is helping the Israelites cross. Moab, let's not forget, is still a place of the promised land. So a little bit to verse 13. Wanderings in the wilderness. Then we turned and set out to the Red Sea as Yahweh spoke to me and circled Mount Seir for many days. Yahweh spoke to me saying, you have circled this mountain long. Now turn north and command the people saying, you will pass through the territory of brothers, the sons of Esau, who live in Seir, and they will be afraid of you. So be very careful. Do not provoke them, for I will not give you any of their land, even as little as a footstep, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau as a possession. Where Esau is Jacob's twin. You shall food from them with money so that you may eat, and you shall also purchase water from them with money so that you may drink. For Yahuwah Elohim has blessed you in all that you have done. He has known your wanderings through this great wilderness. 40 years, Yahuwah, your Elohim, has been with you, or I should say you have not lacked a thing. So we passed beyond our brothers, the sons of Esau, who lived in Seir, away from Arabah road, away from Elhath and Geber, and we turned and passed through the way of the wilderness of Moab. Then Yahweh said to me, do not harass Moab, nor provoke them to war, for I will not give you any of their land as a possession, because I have given Ar to the sons of Lot as a possession. Okay, but yet Reuben had fortified cities there. So I haven't looked up what scripture that specifically is. The Emim lived there formerly, a people as great, numerous, and as tall as the Anakim. Okay, we all know those. Giants were everywhere. Like the Anakim, they also regarded as Rephaim, but the Moabites call them Emim. The Horites formerly lived in Seir, but the sons of Esau dispossessed them and destroyed them from before them and settled in their place, just as Israel did the land of their possession which Yahweh gave to them. So that's interesting too. Partially, I wonder about if some of this judgment wasn't for also those fallen angel races. So I know most of the time people will say that judgment was given only in the Most High's timing, and it just wasn't the right time yet. But he specifically said, do not go to them at that point. So I don't know, just a lot of thoughts in my head. So let's just keep going. Get to Utah, possibly. Okay. So here's where they talk about verse 5. Even established in loving kindness, a judge will on it in faithfulness. in the tent of David. Moreover, he will seek justice and be prompt in righteousness. We have heard of the pride of Moab and excessive pride, even of his arrogance, pride and fury. His idle boasts are false. Therefore Moab will wail, every one of Moab will wail. You will moan for the raisin cakes of Kir-hareseth, as those who are utterly stricken. For the fields of Heshbon have withered, and the vines of Sibmah as well. The lords of the nations have trampled down its choice clusters, which reached as far as Jazer and wandered to the deserts. Its tendrils spread themselves out and passed over the sea. Therefore I will weep bitterly for Jazer, for the vine of Sibmah. All right, so one part, I won't be able to find it. I'm not even going to mention it because I don't want to confuse you if I haven't already. But as you can read, this was a land of vineyards, grasslands, mountainous, beautiful, and a land of plenty. That's what I wrote down. So it's interesting that they're mentioning those things, the raisin cakes, choice foods. Therefore I will weep bitterly for Jazer, for the vine of Sibmah. I will drench you with my tears, O Heshbon and Elealeh. I can't say it. For the shouting over your summer fruits, and your harvest has fallen away. Gladness and joy are taken away from the fruitful field. In the vineyards also there will be no cries of joy or jubilant shouting. No treader treads out wine in the presses, for I have made the shouting to cease. For my heart intones like a harp for Moab, and my inward feelings for Kir-hareseth. So it will come about when Moab presents himself. When he wearies himself upon his high place and comes to his sanctuary to pray, that he will not prevail. This is the word which Yahuwah spoke earlier concerning Moab. But now Yahuwah speaks, saying, within 3 years, as a hired man would count them, the glory of Moab will be degraded along with his great population, and his remnant will be very, very small and impotent. Okay. We're talking a lot of people. And just reading this, it sounds like from the cities and the vastness that this was a packed area. This was a great nation. Let's go back. So it actually changed some names from one of my Names of God Bible to the NASB. So I want to go back to that. And I'm also going to show you a couple maps just to compare, just because. So I'm going to hop up to verse 7 in chapter 15 again. Okay, so this right here says, therefore the abundance which they have acquired and stored up, they carry over the brook of Arabim. So this footnote says the poplars. In my Names of God Bible, it says it's called Willow Ravine. Now, it's funny to mention all these Bible names, like all the names I can't pronounce, and then we have Willow Ravine. So I'm going to go and I just had to look up, is there any place that is like that? So let's just compare. What do I want to go to first? I'm just comparing, and I'm not the only one that has done this. Lake in Utah compared to the Dead Sea. This is how far Moab, Utah is from the Great Salt Sea. And this is pretty far. It says 3 hours, 40 minutes drive, 376 kilometers. I can't tell you how many miles it is. Some of you can. I'm not good like that quickly. But it is interesting that a lot of these biblical names are in Utah, but yet what is Utah? This kind of stuff. Building. I don't know. Just super interesting to me. Now let me get to Willow Ravine, okay? And I did find a lake. There is a Willow Canyon. Let's go to the images. Okay, there is a Willow Canyon. Here's the peak. It looks beautiful. I've never been to Utah. I'd love to go. This was really pretty. Let's see if I can make it larger. So it's just, is it too coincidence to say there's a Willow Ravine in I was asking about, and there's a Willow in Utah. It is so beautiful, isn't it? That's kind of interesting. That was why my one main Utah. Oh, hey guys. Oh, lots of people came on now. That was my main Utah connection, the Willow Ravine, because it says right here in the Bible. I don't know why they didn't use the Old Testament original language in this particular passage. It's just interesting. You know, there's all these names I can't say. Like I said, Arnon River, Eglium, Diamond, and then here is, oh, and they stored up and they crossed over Willow Ravine. So it's just really interesting. My computer keeps lagging, so I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning any of you, but I see you. I know you're here. Thank you. So kind of as I was reading this, let me see if I got anything else saved. As I was reading this, I felt sad. Sorry guys, am I back? Did I lose everybody? No, I'm good. Okay, sorry. I just made the screen go blank. Put in the chat if you're here. I don't know what happened. Okay. I think I clicked something. It says I'm still going though, so that's good. Okay. Lost my train of thought. Here's another map. I'm going to save this and then I'm going to, okay. Let's just make it bigger. Make it bigger. So this is the Dead Sea, supposedly, and Moab. However, the Dead Sea, we don't have many areas that are recognizable. There is Arnon. I don't know what that says. Jerusalem, of course. But it's very interesting that this map, I tried to find the oldest map of the Promised Land and things like that. So it's not very specific and not at all what we would think. The farther you go back, Oh, there we go. Thanks, Pepper, Randy. Thanks, Skull. You think the farther we go back, the more specific map we would find, and it's not that way. I don't know. I'm just saying. I said I'm just throwing it out there. I really thought I would find all of these places I mentioned in chapter 15 on these older maps, but I didn't. I found, the rivers, but like I said, they didn't even, maybe this means Dead Sea in a different language. Berlau, Mermorte, Dead Sea. That means Morte, that's probably dead, right? Jericho, I see. Sarah. This is a hard map to read anyways, but that's the best I could find. So in that case, Moab would be down here. In this valley. Say you are washing out. Looks like there's a lot of washing here. However, when you look at places like Utah, there's a lot of washing out there. Willow Flats National Park. I don't know. I'm just saying, guys. So yeah, what I was saying was after reading about Moab's judgment, it made me sad. And I just, I know there's a purpose for it, but also my wheels just keep turning because things aren't always what they seem. And it seems like Isaiah was mourning over Moab. And like I said, if someone like King David was trusting the king of Moab at one time to take care of his parents, we know a lot from biblical history, but then again, we don't know a lot. And I wanted to mention, I know because a couple of you mentioned to me before that I changed the name, or I use a different name for God. And since I've been learning about Torah and different things, that God and Lord are titles, and that they've actually changed the true name of the Most High, and then it's literally taking it in vain. So I've prayed that for myself, and that's the conclusion I came to. I'm not pushing for any of you ever to say Yahuwah or Yeshua or Yahusha. You have to, everything we learn always has to be from the Holy Spirit to us personally, and He can do that. The one confirmation I did get from that was from our good friend Keys to the Truth, and he talks about the Vedic texts a lot, and that the names of Yah and Yeshua are in the Vedic texts, which he says, and I would agree, predate any language, including Hebrew, and he believes that's the true creation. Go check out his videos. He has really interesting, engaging videos. Really makes you think. He's super smart. But anyways, that's why I use the name Yahuwah and Yeshua, because that's what I've just learned, and I understand it that way. I do see Satan as like the Lord of this this realm right now. And so if you're going to call anybody Lord, it's definitely not going to be Satan. Yeah, me too, Skull. Oh, he makes me think beyond, like, because next video I have to write notes on because I don't even understand what he's saying. I got to go back and study it. So we're all unlearning and relearning, and yeah, bringing it to nothingness, Pepper, right? So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there, and I'm just sharing. That's why I use those names rather than God and Lord. But hopefully that won't trip anybody up. So that's all I've got. I just wanted to give you some of the background information of those places, and I had fun studying. I didn't really come to any conclusions, but that's okay. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Utah always pops up, and I don't know if it's just because, but um, yeah, go check him out, Tony. He's good. Keys to the Truth is his channel, and that's his website too. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and blessings. Have a good day.